and just following a lot of the storylines that are going on in this game we call real estate, as 2025 is a mere 19 days away from closing, which is insane if you think about it. So like and share the show, Judah, we're live on my personal Facebook. We're live on I Love CVille Facebook. We're live on the I Love CVille group. I believe we are live on Candace's page. We are. We will confirm Woody's page here in a matter of moments. If you are a broker, if you're an agent, if you're in the mortgage business, the home inspection business, sit back, grab your iced coffee, and enjoy this show. Rob Neal, hello. Holly Foster, hello. Aaron Moody, hello. Bob Seffick, hello. Cindy Shorberg, hello. Thank you for watching the program. Alex Witten, James Forrest Callan, welcome to the program, live on Woody's page. Things are looking good, Judah. Keep that Facebook Messenger open so we can chitter-chatter about anything on the back end, and we can rock and roll when you're ready. Hello, Colleen Tyler. Live on YouTube, looking good. Welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith, guys. Good Friday morning, and thank you kindly for joining us. It's a pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love CVille network on a show that's presented by Yes Realty Partners and Fincham and Associates. Ladies and gentlemen, today's program is dynamic, so you, the viewer and listener, can help shape the conversation. Put your thoughts and your comments in the chat box on any of the platforms you're watching this show upon. We air our content on every social, digital, and podcasting platform possible, and in some cases like Facebook and Twitter, on 15 individual Facebook and Twitter pages. Folks, give us your thoughts. We will pass them on to a panel of experts. I do want to highlight Judah Woodcower behind the camera, the Elmer's glue of this team, the guy who keeps the ship heading in the right direction. If we can go to the studio camera and then a three-shot as we welcome friends of the show, Woody Fincham and Candace Vanderlyn, you will realize that Keith Smith is not here. He is working on his suntan in the Caribbean, I hope with a Mai Tai in his hand. He is back in January, but have no fear, Woody and Candace are here, and things are A+++. My friends, good Friday morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah, same here.
Woody Fincham's got a fresh haircut over there. You're looking sharp.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Very recent, I'd say in the last 2 to 3 days.
This morning over my sink.
Okay, fantastic, Woody Fincham. It's great to have you guys in the show. We start each episode of Real Talk with Keith Smith with some scatter shooting or an opportunity for you guys to offer anything that's top of mind for the viewers and listeners. Woody, my friend, the show is yours. Anywhere you want to go?
I've spent the last 2 days just digging through data so we could talk a little bit about how the market's ebbing and flowing. So all kinds of good stuff to talk about today, I hope. And hopefully we'll get some good questions from our audience.
We absolutely will. Candace, scatter shooting with you. You know this game we call Real Estate Inside and Out.
Yes.
What have you been following? What trends have you been following to pass on to the readers and the viewers and listeners?
Super excited. So part of the, so my business, of course, is buy and sell CVille, and part of the Yes Realty Partners and Keller Williams Alliance. And as part of this amazing group of people, we are all Buffini-ites, as I call it. So we're full, certified full-service professionals, and Brian Buffini does this bold predictions he's been doing for 8,000 years now, I think, accurately. And so listening to Dr. Lawrence Yun, we have a great opportunity that he actually, his kid's alum at UVA, and he's from DC. So we actually get him here in our local association pretty often, at least 1 to 2 times a year. And so, learning and hearing about all of the trends and the nationwide predictions and what's going on, and then taking that, of course, Keith is always so good with numbers and diving deep into the analytics of what's actually happening here in our footprint. So like Woody said, just diving into the information to be ready to help all your viewers.
How do you characterize the 2025 market now that we're at season's end? Balanced, still tilting towards sellers, evening out? How do you characterize this market?
It's still a seller's market, not as strongly as it was in the previous years. It's not been the best year. I mean, volume's down for sure. But, I mean, we're lucky to be here. I mean, our nucleus is around the university and, the federal government being here, and we're lucky to have them, and the hospital groups as well. I mean, we're a strong MSA as far as that goes.
Candace, your thoughts?
I love the show, and I love having different perspectives because it's all about putting yourself in the perspective of someone else. So I actually would say it, realistically, since in my full-on buyer-seller helping side of life, I see it's been a buyer's market, and it shifted very, very dramatically around August. April, May started turning pretty hardcore, and then by August, September, we had a totally different market than what it had been in the last 3 years. So some of the stats that like Keith had shared with our local car data, days on market were a little longer. Now we definitely are seeing a lot less expired listings and released transactions. So for example, 2023, I have a lot of people too that are, oh my God, you are killing it. It's amazing. What's going on? Well, they didn't see in publicly marketing, didn't recognize how many properties, they were going under contract, but then how many were getting released. So we had so many released sales and released contracts.
Explain what that means to the viewers and listeners.
So for whatever reason, call it inspection items, call it financing contingency, whatever the reason, most of what I saw in talking with my colleagues and fellow realtors in that year, it was a lot of buyer remorse. There had been so much hype and so much anticipation for buyers just to be able to get anything. They were settling. And in taking properties and product at a disadvantage because there was nothing available, 21, 22. So come 23, they're like, okay, yes, we're under contract, but I don't really know if I want this home. What if I settle? What if the interest rates go down? There was a lot up in the air of uncertainty and really, I think, just a lot of timid behavior. So now this year started out pretty decent, pretty normal, tracking with 24, but then we saw a shift. Now locally, I think the school districts starting back earlier. To me, July, everyone was gone on vacation. I don't care who you were, where you were, what you were doing. Somebody was on vacation in every office. So transactions went down like pancakes being flipped by my 10-year-old. It was dead in the water. But then August, September started picking up again, and now I'd say we're definitely leveled out. People are starting to get excited again. And I'm super thrilled about 2026.
Do we think, Woody, that there's a fair amount of pent-up demand that may be on the sidelines waiting to see what happens come 2026, come maybe a more affordable rate structure and rate environment? It seems that appears to be, for my end, the tempo of what's going on. Your thoughts? You guys are the pros.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of a consumer-facing real estate professional's question. I mean, I'm dealing with data kind of after the fact, and I think that's why Candace and I are having a different perspective here because, I mean, all the data that I've got right now still indicate the seller's market because, I'm just looking at some stats I have here in my system. And, I'm looking at Green, Fluvanna, and Albemarle, and everything's still showing pretty much to the seller side. Now, that doesn't mean it's not transitioning. I mean, Candace would know better than that because she's working directly with consumers and she's hearing and seeing what's going on. As the appraiser, I don't see any deals that expire. If I'm going to be doing something for a lender, it's because something's actually going, heading towards closing. I do think there is pent-up demand, to answer your question. There's definitely people that are looking to get started with their first house or people that are looking to move on to something else. And, inventory's been tight. tighter and the affordability issue is a big deal. I mean, I just finished something out in rural Fluvanna in the eastern part of the county for a lender, and it's a perfect starter home, but I mean it's every bit of more than $300,000, and for someone who's just starting out with a baby, that's a lot of money.
Candace, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I do totally agree with that as well. So looking at, it had been such an artificial market for so long that we're now finally getting back to inventory and interest rates, and we're in the rhythm of what we were in 2019, really on a graph, if you were to look at it, we're getting right back in there. The interesting thing, like Woody said, people are starting to move further out. I know Josh White, who's our, I guess now immediate past president of CAR, there was a newscast that was done, I think in June timeframe this year, in talking about VDOT and the issues that we're having because people, to be able to afford to buy a home, are moving further out. So now we have congestion problems. I know you as well, dealing with Pantops or dealing with Crozet or dealing, school systems getting overcrowded. So there's a lot that does go into it. And again, like I know we got a lot, I'm super excited to talk about all these stats as far as first-time homebuyer demographics, age and location and equity, and then opportunity and the mindset of people who think they can't buy a home, or they have these other quick fixes, overnight internet sensation type of ideas that are really 1% that are actually doing anything, and it takes a lot of effort and work and diligence to be able to do anything. And I think social media and our 18 to 30-year-old demographics are really watching and seeing what a few are doing and getting this hype bug that they can do it too, and they're spending money frivolously instead of working hard and putting that towards education, down payment, grant programs, things of that nature.
Comments coming in. Cop is watching. John? He says
John.
he loves seeing you on the show. You got questions that I'm going to get to in a matter of moments. We'll highlight Danielle Shreve watching the show. Lane Duplichin?
Duplichin, yeah.
Yep, watching the program right
It's the
now.
Raging Cajun.
There's comments. How about this one that's coming in here? To Jerry's point, if the rate environment does become more affordable to start next year, how does that impact things? Because we as a family are waiting to see what happens.
It's going to put more stress on the market. I mean, there's a limited amount of inventory as it is, and if you make affordability, I'm sorry, not affordability, but the ability to buy more competitive, because you can buy more house and all that with a lower rate. So, I mean, I don't see it being positive for folks that have, like, if you're doing FHA or USDA with the money down loans. It's very competitive because you're not only just competing against other people trying to buy the home, you're competing against investors because that's a strong investor class.
I've followed pretty closely, as you know. I'm seeing adjustments and price modifications, cuts, whatever, price massages, whatever we want to call it here. Candace, put it in perspective here. The modifications that are happening, you may have some data on that. Is that just perhaps unrealistic sellers? That may not be following. The buyers are often the first to adapt to the market. Sellers follow buyers. Talk to us about the modifications and the adjustments you've seen.
Yeah, that's a really great point, and that's a great question. So if you look at the doom scrollers and the clickbait and all of that out there, that is what every buyer is seeing and reading, and apparently sellers have no clue. Joking but serious. The doom and gloom of what's going to happen and the crash and all this stuff, that's really not accurate as far as what we're seeing on a national trend and more specifically our local trends. So realistically, price change, so for example, this is a Keithism here. So price change in 2023 was 28 around this time, 31 in 24, and 46 now. So to answer your question, I wouldn't say that it's uneducated sellers or realtors. It's that the market has changed dramatically, and as you said, the buyers are, anything's only worth what a buyer's willing to pay. And so the mindset of the buyers, the cost of groceries and gas and vehicle prices, and gosh, there have been so many deer accidents this year. Insurance costs have gone up.
Including my Subaru.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. So, all of these factors come into play. So whenever we look at home pricing and analysis and putting the numbers together to make sure that our houses appraise when they do go under contract, it's really challenging, especially when, again, from like May to August, it was a completely different market than post-August.
Seasonality is coming back.
Yeah, that's true. So home sellers, I think, need to understand and look at the fact that the artificial market is over. Our interest rates are really solid. I mean, decade or two ago, it was 13, 14, 18%. It was a woohoo celebration when it hit 10%. So now looking at 6 as a pretty good average and hovering around 6. If it hits 5.98, you got a deal because it has a 5 ahead of the number. So, pricing things appropriately, having it in the right condition, the right location, all of those things still matter. Those will always matter. However, also understanding that the floor plan, the layout, and the amenities for lifestyle really do take into account as well with pricing.
Kristen, RG giving you some props?
Oh, hey.
Watching the program. Matt Nisolo, real estate brokers, jump in. Let us know some perspective. Alex Schwartz, watching the broadcast, another one. Market segments by price point. This is right up your alley here. Let's go. What are we going to call luxury now? Is the luxury at 2 handles at $2 million now?
So I am writing a paper right now on luxury real estate valuation, and I've found some metrics that would show that your luxury price point is going to be about 2.5 times whatever the median price point is for that market.
Okay, so median price point, I would say, in Albemarle County is in the 500s?
A little bit more than that. So
okay.
we're looking at 2.5 times that is going to be what, you're $2 million or more.
Yeah, so you call 2 million luxury. Let's say
most of the time.
Yeah, right. In this market. In this market. How's that segment holding up?
It's doing well. I mean, it's still pumping along like it always does. It's a very insulated class of property just because you're talking about a group of consumers who oftentimes can write a check for whatever they want. So, we appraise property in that niche all the time. It's one of our specialties. And, what the market will support sometimes is nowhere near what a buyer will pay for those properties because they're able to it's a non-elastic homogeneous good. I mean, there's only one of those properties anywhere. It's not like you're going to go to Forest Lakes and you can buy the same model 5 or 6 times. And you're getting something that's very specific and very customized, and folks will put a lot of money into it. I mean, we see them; they'll pay over appraisal for these properties, and then go spend $1 million redecorating it. It's they're beautiful homes, but it's a very, very strong market. We're not seeing a whole lot of much different activity than we've seen over the last couple of years. It's always kind of just done its own thing.
Yeah, I've seen the same. I'm seeing that segment move. I'm seeing that segment move with cash buyers. I'm seeing a lot of those homes even trading off market. I'm seeing a lot of conversation with folks that are considering selling, and there's buyers coming to them that agents may have in their pocket, and
right.
The house never even gets listed on the MLS. Next segment I want to highlight maybe is that. I don't want to be too broad on that. Maybe it's like the 1.25 to 1.9 range. So close to luxury, not quite luxury, needs some work. How's that segment moving right there?
Well, right now, some of your new construction is in that category.
Yeah.
And that the new construction part of it's going along very well. We're not seeing as much activity in that particular niche as we would in the lower tiers, more middle class markets, which were always the strongest, really. They have the most activity by volume, is what I mean. But still going along. I mean, and what I don't get, I've never understood this, but is there so much cash in the market? I mean, so many cash buyers out there. I mean, nationally, it's over 30%. So that's I just don't know where it's all coming from. And we do a lot of work where it'll be a upper tier property that someone will buy with cash, and then we'll come back in a month later and do a refinance for them, so they'll cash some of their money back out of it.
Well, I think, realistically, the beautiful thing about our country is that there are loopholes, tools, and tricks of the trade. So once you own, becoming a homeowner initiates this domino effect of having equity, having financial net worth, having gains in opportunity. So people that tend to have been in homeownership, maybe made investments, who have had long-term gains in strategy for years. Now, remember, right now our median age of a seller is 64 years old.
Yep.
The median age of a buyer is 40. This is higher than it's been in ever.
It's American history.
History.
First-time home buyer is the highest it's ever been in American history.
Yeah. So, utilizing IRAs or utilizing other properties as collateral and being able to take out investment funds, technically using cash that's available, but then, having a lot of times too, a cash offer, like what he said, either gets refinanced pretty quickly after a sale in closing, or it's put in there that, okay, yes, we have the cash, but we have the option to get a loan as well, or utilize other opportunities and funds, family inheritance, and things of that nature to be able to do the cash payments. The sales by price, now this went into your, it's really interesting that new home, new construction, and really the majority of homes, even if they're just builder grade, rack them and stack them, the same house 10 times over on a street, over $1 million is 20% of the home sales. 750 to $1 million is 14%. 500 to 750,000 is 11%. The 250 to 500,000, which is low price in our area, that's lower than median Albemarle County price point, is 10%. And there's really nothing available that is in that first-time home buyer price range that's actually move-in ready, decent condition, location, all of those factors considered. And it's not really priced right for investors. So the people coming in with the flip type of business model, that's kind of out the door at this point. And then people who want to own and occupy, like we were talking before, first home being a condo or an attached property that's a little smaller, a little easier to maintain. The homeowner's dues are pretty extensive. Gas and car payments, insurance still. So you have all these factors that make that, sub 500 price point still pretty challenging for a lot of people. So that sales percentage by price point is really dropped off, whereas that higher, 750 million, million and a half range has really stayed stable because people have cash and because people have other equity opportunities for that growth.
Candace showed up with a loaded for bear today, man. She's got all kinds of stats down there.
And my chicken scratch here.
One of the things that we should probably mention, I mean, if you look at it from a national perspective, I don't have this on any local data on this, but because of credit card debt and there's a lot of folks that are struggling right now financially, we're going to see more foreclosures. I think that's inevitable. I mean, I've done more LGI work, which is foreclosure work for VA this year than I've done in previous years.
Locally?
Locally, yeah. And these are, we're going to see some stuff coming on the market that's going to need work, things like that. We may even see a return back to things like 203K loans and home style loans, rehab loans, where folks can buy and fix up at the same time.
Comments coming in. This is from, is it Matthew Ipoc? You guys are absolutely rocking it, and you make great points. You ask, where's all the cash coming from for cash purchases for those higher-end properties? 30% using cash, that sounds absolutely crazy to me. Well, I'll kind of pass the baton on to you guys. We're seeing a lot of empty nesters and boomers moving into the Charlottesville market, and they're doing so after selling homes elsewhere, and they're coming with aggressive cash positions. The average age nationally for the first-time home buyer is 40, and I would bet you if you start tracking age, and I don't know if Paragon or any of your data points allow this, if you start tracking age for buyers in Charlottesville and Albemarle County particularly, it's going to be up there as well. So it's just very well-heeled buyers in this market. And further, going to compound this, we're now getting data points out from the AstraZeneca, 600 new workers coming to AstraZeneca starting in early 2028. The average wage for those 600 workers is $125,000, the average wage, just for that company alone. The county has said we're going to try to compete with the Research Triangle in North Carolina. NC State, Duke, and UNC make up that Research Triangle. There's more than 3,000 companies in that Research Triangle, and the average wage for those 3,000 companies is a six-figure wage. Right. So Albemarle County is trying to duplicate what's happening in North Carolina. The first chapter of that is early 2028 with AstraZeneca. So the time to buy, folks, is now, because the inventory is only going to get more expensive.
Well, the problem we run into is the development area. We just don't have any willingness on the political side to open up the development area. If we don't do that, these companies are not going to come here. I mean, at some point, we're going to reach a point of saturation, because when these large companies come in, they do metric all this stuff. They want to know, is there housing stock? Can we get housing stock here that will work for the type of employees that we're bringing in? And as far as employee and age and all that, Jerry, we're forbade by the GSEs as an appraiser to even talk about any demographics anymore. I can't talk about education levels. I can't talk about age. I can't talk about any of that in my reports anymore. So, and I know CAR doesn't track any of that either.
So that data point for the 40, I think it was average. I don't think it was median. The 40 average age for the first-time home buyer.
That's what NAR reports.
That's a NAR data point. Yeah, that's a National Association of Realtors data point. So how does the sub-40 category, how does the young millennial, the Gen Zer, compete in this market, Candace?
Multi-generational homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one factor. There's actually there's a great opportunity for educating, especially our realtors, educating and our lenders that to the demographics that are a little bit more seasoned. Let's get your kids and grandkids into educational opportunities to learn about how they can become home buyers. This is an amazing fact. Homeowners are 46 times the net worth versus renters. 46 times that net worth. It is 40%, and this again is nationally speaking. We run pretty close here locally. 40% of home buyers are getting larger homes, and half of those are multi-generational homes. So that means people who have a home already existing, have kids or grandkids or different people that need to live with them, or they're of a certain age where they need to have their parents then come live with them. So either, upsizing and growing because of the fact that you have other family members to support in those needs. But that also means that 60% are downsizing. And half of those downsizers are new construction. So like what he said, the development opportunities, the land, the type of construction, looking at main level living, that means you have to have larger land space to do that. So I have seen a lot of people actually this year in particular looking for land that they can either develop or, subdivide in some aspect. And the county has, I've seen a lot of opportunity there too. So even though it takes a bit of time to do the building, to do the permitting and all that fun stuff, it also creates jobs and opportunity for our well diggers and, our municipal workers, for the utility companies and things of that nature, our contractors. And I think it's hilarious. So 11 years on average is what people are living in their home. And most people are really living in their rate. It's not the house that they love. They like the fact that they know what their payment is. They know the quirkiness of their house, that you turn this light switch on and the bathroom light goes off and the outside, garage door opens randomly. You don't know what a switch is for, that type of thing. So a lot of times when people are looking at improving their home, okay, we're here, I love the rate, I love my location, the house doesn't really work, let's fix it up. That's when they sell, because now, oh my gosh, my house is so marketable, it's so beautiful and so ready, let's go ahead and sell it and find something else and either downsize or this house still doesn't work, even though we've upgraded the kitchen and the bathrooms and the yard is beautiful and all that. Well, grandma still can't make it up the stairs, so let's move.
Yeah, I've had several borrowers I've worked with this year that are buying land just outside of the urban and suburban core, and they are very interested in what the development rights are on the property. Not to build a subdivision, but because they have kids, and they're going to either do a familial subdivision at some point, or if the kids decide they want to stay, then they'll cut them off a lot, and they'll.
I think one of them may have been in the studio yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, that you worked alongside. That is a house, maybe a house purchasing hack, if you may. The multi-generational purchases that are happening. You're seeing friends doing purchases together. I think that could be a little bit complicated, but we're
it
seeing
could be.
friends.
What did Will Smith and his wife say? It was an entanglement. You don't want one of those.
Yeah, that's an interesting relationship, that one right there, Will and Jada. This is an interesting one for you, Woody, and I think we should squash this.
Okay.
So this was on CNBC yesterday. And the headline, to Candace's point, a little bit of clickbait on CNBC, that home prices go negative for the first time in over 2 years and may stay that way for a while. Parcel Labs, which looks at high-frequency listing data on single-family homes, condos, and townhomes, the data suggests that home prices have fallen or have come down compared to last year. Home prices are down 1.4% in just the last 3 months. That's at a macro level. That is not at a local level. We should squash that.
That's national, and it's aggregated national data. So there are definitely markets around the country where that's happening. But let's face it, our media, regardless of what side of the political fence you fall on, you got to watch 7 or 8 different media outlets to get the truth, because they all want to tell you something a little bit different. And it's all about clickbait. It's all about getting people's interest. I mean, consumers, have a very short attention span anymore. And, the news cycle used to be, a day? It's like, probably half an hour now. I mean, just because of Twitter and things, or what is it, X now? But I mean, what's really important for consumers to understand is you need to talk to people that are in the local market, because they actually know what's going on. We have a healthy market here as far as that goes. I wish there was more inventory, but we're not seeing any price decreases here. When we get out into the very, very fringe rural markets, we are seeing some adjustments there. It's more normalized to stable, I guess, but folks aren't as interested in living that far out because they don't want to drive an hour and a half to get somewhere. So, I mean, I don't, that national data is just, it's so people will watch the news. And unfortunately, it puts consumer confidence down.
It spooks people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely spooks people. Candace, what are some things you're following as we head into 2026? Because at this point, your homes that are pending maybe are closing in 2025, most likely closing in 2026. So we know now the data for 2025. What are you going to follow for 2026? Is it going to be a better year than 2025? I know you're an optimist, but realists, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I'd like to say there's opportunity if you want to close in 2025. There are some magic things that can happen. I had that happen last year, the week between Christmas and New Year's.
You got attorneys to work during Christmas?
We have some tricks up our sleeves sometimes. So that was a lot of work, but happy people in the end. So realistically looking at 2026, this is a great forecast. So again, this is nationwide, but pretty close to the vest here. So existing home sales were about evened out in 25. It's expected to be about up 14% in 2026. So people who were married to their rate, not wanting to do anything, really there's some external circumstances, typically family, I think 20% at least, reason to move, downsize, or relocate is to be closer to family. And that takes into account the age of the sellers and the median age of the buyers as well. So being closer to family, being able to house and support the family and keep those costs down, that's one of those factors. New home sales were down 2% in 2025 and projected to be up 5% in 2026. So we see a lot of people who finally agreed, like, okay, yes, we are going to sell our home. It's flat, but now the new construction is finishing. So that's going to bump the existing sales, home sales up, and the new home sales up. The median price was up 3% realistically, even if, like right now, what we're seeing with the people with their jobs, people with their rates, sellers that don't have to move are being patient. They don't have to move. Why price it lower than what they want to get? And they're willing to sit and wait. A lot of homes have been taken off the market over the last, through this holiday season and winter. And really, we're looking at, like Woody said before, getting back into this rhythm of a spring cycle. Now, that means if you're still on the market and still willing to be patient throughout this holiday season when a bunch of people took their homes off, now you're one of the few that are available. So you have an opportunity. You don't necessarily have to reduce your price if you don't want to. And or in the spring, when buyers are, qualified and ready to buy, there's going to be an influx of inventory, new construction as well. The interest rates should hold. It's interesting because when the Fed rates go down, it actually makes the mortgage rate go up a little bit, which seems counterintuitive, but again, this is a long haul. It's a 30-year amortization schedule for a reason. You're not making all your money tomorrow. And if you are renting, it's really interesting too. The net worth, I know I'm going off on a different
No, you're great.
tangent,
This is great. It's a talk show.
The median net worth of a homeowner in 2019 was just shy of $300,000. A renter, $7,300. Now in 2024, $430,000 as a net worth of a median, average homeowner, and $10,000 as a renter. So if somebody is looking at, oh, well, I don't have the down payment, there are options available. And again, family members helping out, using equity, using IRAs, using different funds in different cash opportunities to help family members become that first-time home buyer. That's how we continue to help people and educate people. The land trust, I know obviously Keith is an amazing board member in that, helping first-time home buyers actually get in the game. So going from, I totally lost track of what the original question was.
You're answering it perfectly. You're answering it perfectly.
Yeah, it just all the projections for 2026. I am an optimist, but it's also I really like helping people who are willing to strap their boots up, get out there, and do it for themselves. There's no appreciation for somebody who just gets handed something. You've got to work hard to be able to appreciate what you get. And if you have school loans, another thing in the world that are, coming back around to us, school loans, prices of groceries, prices of everything going up. If you really work hard and diligent in your focus and attention is given to becoming a homeowner, then you can achieve that. And there are realtors here. We are here and willing, able to help. And if you're not willing to do that, step aside and let somebody who is willing to do that hard work come in and take advantage of the opportunity. Prices are just going up. Even if interest rates stay the same or slightly, it bounce up and down a little bit, it's still going to be more advantageous now to get in the game than it is to wait.
I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe we're going to have a very, huge influx of well-heeled buyers coming into this market. The data suggests it. The news cycle suggests it. UVA is telling us that. Publicly traded companies are telling us that. It's only going to get more expensive to buy. I'm curious at your thoughts here, Woody, on appreciation expectations for homes now moving forward. The expectation of this COVID spike with home values is beyond us. Seems to me that the appreciation's getting more in that 5 to 10% window across the board, with some pockets more and some pockets less.
Yeah, the average is always kind of misconstrued because little pocket markets do different things. But yeah, we're still appreciating, and we're back to more of a normalized appreciation. If you look at historically, real estate values have always gone up over time, and we've had a couple of times where we've had a hiccup and things have gone down, but they come right back up. So land and owning real estate's usually a good long-term investment, as long as you can buy it. That's the big question.
New construction. Greene County seems to be the place where that's happening. Outside of Greene, pockets of new construction that you're seeing out there, it just seems to be onesies and doozies.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of pre-construction valuation work where, builders and developers are borrowing money to start projects, and I'm seeing a lot with Liberty Homes. They're doing a lot, they might buy, 5 acres or 6 acres and build 2 or 3 houses there, but that's usually the biggest density they do. But it's usually one-offs. And then you'll have, like Ryan, we do quite a bit of their work as well. They're going along splendidly. I mean, we do a ton of work for them over in the Valley, and which is a much more affordable price point for folks. Because Ryan offers, they have really nice tiers. They have a mid-tier, then they have like a very economy level, I guess is the right way to say it. But we're seeing a lot of investors buy in that market too. I mean, around Harrisonburg especially. But yeah, I mean, it's going along.
What are you seeing, Candace, new construction-wise?
Yeah, it's interesting. New construction-wise, I would say that for a while there, again, in the artificial market, anything built was selling. And now, really, really pleased. I've got a couple new construction clients, and very pleased with the outcome and the expectation and the communication. Really, that's one of those big things. I know Keith always talks about it also. Who's on the other side matters. And we are very fortunate here locally to have such great communication. And we're going to see you at the grocery store if you're a builder or a GM or big, small, medium-sized builders. We're going to see you. We're going to know your kids because they're in the same schools. And you can't get away from lackluster product anymore. For a few years, it would happen. But yeah, I had 2 inspections yesterday on new product, and the inspectors even said this is the best built home I've seen in this community. So I think that the buyer confidence is up, the builder's expectations to deliver quality product is where it should always be, and getting the right floor plan out. There were, again, like in that mid-spring to early fall time frame, all the builders were even saying, what is going on? We've got products sitting. We can't give away incentives. We're doing, we're doing closing cost incentives and buying down points and everything we can, and people are not willing to put pen to paper. What is happening? So it kind of, misery loves company type of theory, but it was kind of nice to see, okay, it's not just us. I'm not giving advice to my seller at a pricing strategy that looked good on paper and looked good with the comps and appraisal values, and calling Woody in, for example, to come in and appraise something ahead of time to have an idea. Even new construction was lacking in these months. So I think, again, we're rolling out of 2025 into 2026. New construction expectations, pricing, value, and product are really, really awesome. Existing homes, really got to be either
tip top.
Tip top, great maintenance, all of your things too. Your windows, your roof, your heating and cooling system, your sewer, water and sewer, all of those big ticket items really need to be in place appropriately. And yeah, some people might not like the color of the cabinets or the paint on the walls or the countertops, things of that nature. Those can be adjusted to your taste, but those big ticket items are what your insurance companies, your appraiser, right. Those are the things that really matter. So yeah, talk to your realtor early, get your contractors in advance. If you have contractors come into work, ask them their recommendation on a realtor that they know is going to do an awesome job for you. And communication is key.
What do you think?
Or talk to a real estate agent who's got good connections with contractors if you're thinking about doing a project, because if you're thinking about possibly selling later on, you start working with them. They can help, grease the skids for you so everything's working and works the way that it should. And anytime you're doing construction projects or rehab or anything where you're spending a lot of capital on it, it's not a bad idea to look at having an appraisal done as well, because you may put too much into something we do homes oftentimes where folks put too much, they'll be in a mid-tier home and they'll put in a kitchen that you'd see, in Farmington, or try to anyway. And it's just the consumer base will not pay any extra for it. It's nice to have, but we do see over improvements quite often in certain situations. That the really nice Italian marble that people like to put in their homes doesn't necessarily transition well to
value.
Yeah, I mean, cost doesn't equal value usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we're seeing also. So looking at a lot of calls, a lot of interest in communication with either homes that were on the market that are coming off to be able to do some of these improvements, and feedback. Feedback is fantastic. Realtors, give feedback when you show a property, please. It's like herding cats into water sometimes. But, having that feedback and having that information, then the sellers have tangible information. They can now make an assessment. Okay, we're continuing to hear that the roof is old. Maybe we should, if you pull it off the market, or give a roof credit. And again, your realtor knows who's in the industry, who these contractors are. Sometimes getting contractors to show up is also not the easiest thing in the world, but we're here to help. And getting these things done and making sure these capital improvements are done accordingly, or realistically pricing with that in mind, that the buyer, less buyers, because if, first-time home buyers are in their 40s, they've got kids on, 32% of the 40-year-old first-time home buyer demographic has kids under the age of 18 at home. I don't want to have to put a roof on. My lender and my insurance company and those things aren't going to want me to put that on myself. So let's work that in the price. Let's work that into incentives. And there's a whole slew of information in that can of worms to talk to your realtor about and talk to your lender about. But yeah, it's amazing. And like Woody was saying too, I wanted to mention, so home prices, in 70 years of tracking real estate trends and pricing, it has not gone down.
Right.
3 years in particular, in 70 years, did prices ever blip in the downward motion? Chances are good they're not going to go down anytime soon.
Oh, I'm so bullish on this market, ladies and gentlemen. Charlottesville City, I need your perspective on that. The city of Charlottesville specifically seems to be ticking at a slightly different pace to its next door neighbor, Albemarle County. Can you offer some insight into what you're seeing data-wise with city and homes that are coming on market and off market in Charlottesville City specifically?
I mean, we've got a couple of really big ones we're doing right now in the city, and it doesn't seem like it's. I don't really track the differences between Albemarle and Charlottesville because they're two distinct markets. So, to speak to how one's working differently than the other, politically especially, I don't track that. But we're not seeing any issues as far as people wanting to move into the city, other than the affordability issue. But there's a lot of high-end real estate around the university, and that's where most of my work is anymore. Either there or over in I can't think of the name of the neighborhood, Belmont. We do quite a bit in Belmont. But there's a lot of high-end stuff in Belmont now, too, so compared to what it was 15 years ago. So I wish I could give you a little more insight there, Jerry, but I just don't have it.
You mentioned in the beginning of the show the market not being the most advantageous for some of your flipper clients. Mm-hmm. Any insight into that you want to provide the viewers and listeners?
Yeah, money isn't cheap. And
contractors are expensive.
Even if you're doing your own contracting or you have your own subs to keep busy, again, owners are patient. Sellers are being patient this year, and buyers are being picky. So that kind of puts the pricing for something for an investor to be able to actually put money into, turn it over, and then sell it for any kind of gain is just not advantageous. The long haul, again, buy something, own it for a few years, put it into a portfolio. I've got a number of investor clients who have bought multiple properties this year, but their plan is not to sell it right away. It's to hold it. And again, add that to their portfolio and utilize the gains in the portfolio to finance against. So if you have a big package, you can really get a loan based on your
portfolio
on your
collateral.
Value. Yeah, and then go out and use that cash
to
go buy other things. Exactly, yeah. And that's why the demographic demographics and the age and the median buyer and seller, and you ask why there's cash being paid for a bunch of stuff. Well, if mom and dad have a portfolio they can loan against, and they can help with, the kids or the grandkids or family members with that, even, an older person who needs to sell to move closer to family, they can use that income and use that equity to be able to do these transitions. So the interest rates really don't matter as much at this point, because they're not inflated, they're not artificial, and where we're at. So flippers as a general term, or investors who want to go in, buy, remodel, and resell, there's not that inflated artificial value of a sale price that's going to happen.
I think the problem with flippers right now is that the price point is too high. I mean, you've got to get it at a discount if you're going to get it, because you've got your purchase price, then you've got your you got to have enough room for an adequate amount of entrepreneurial incentive and profit. And then
price point's too high, labor's too expensive, and the rate environment is too high.
Yeah, and if you're buying something that's really beat up, there's also that risk factor too you have to factor in. So that makes the discount even bigger, and sellers just don't want to back off of it.
Now, I have seen, so looking at the city specifically, I've seen a lot of people who are taking advantage of, for better or worse, what changes and what incentives there are to have a single-family home with an ADU, like an accessory dwelling unit, or using part of their home to rent out. Or again, we have this great opportunity for the UVA community, and whenever somebody is here for UVA, the students are here, the parents end up buying a place that they can, rent back to their kids, and then keep as long-term investments until it's a better a better chance to sell if they want to sell it, or again use that as collateral in the future. There's a lot of people who live in the city and are looking specifically for the city because of lifestyle. They want to go out and about and take part in all of the amazing amenities and activities we have here on the mall or in Belmont, and all of these great features that we offer here in Charlottesville. And then in the counties, a lot of times, like Woody was saying too, if there are a lot of people who are quote unquote investors who look at buying a home that's a little further out, but maybe has the zoning that will allow them to either divide one piece or two pieces off, or build a garage and have an apartment. So I think that the residual income potential is something that's in everybody's mind that I'm talking to. So buying in the city, buying in the county, buying further out kind of goes into play with, okay, what's my long-term goal with being able to make income potential versus just, selling something immediately in the next 2 years.
Very nice take. Guys, how about this? Toughest question I'm going to ask you both today.
Uh-oh.
Holiday and Christmas plans for each of you. What are they?
Just hanging out with the family. We've got the grandsons down in Chesterfield. I'm sure we're going to spend some time with them, which is, children that are 3 and 4 years old. There's nothing better at Christmas. Around the house, I've got 2 17-year-olds and 3 Australian Shepherds that'll all be spoiled. But 17-year-olds are expensive to shop for. They have very high-end taste.
So are 7-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, and, wait till they get to the cell phone, laptop, and iPad age. How about you, Candy?
Well, I wanted to ask you, what's your meal? What's the meal going to be?
Last year, what did we do? I think we did the beef Wellington, which I like to do, but beef has gotten so expensive we probably won't do that. We ended up for Thanksgiving this year. We ended up we got catering to do it for us, which I felt I didn't enjoy as much because I like to cook, and it was different for me because I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. But I'm sure we'll do something. If it's not, it probably won't be a turkey, but I don't know. It'll be something. If I can get a brisket at a decent price, I might actually just smoke a brisket. That's always good.
So deal. I don't want to take advantage of my own opportunity, but Harris Teeter bone-in prime rib is on sale right now. So that is definitely happening in my household.
Very nice.
Yeah. No, we. It's super exciting. Going to take the kids to in Norfolk. where Woody and I actually went to culinary school, like just a few years ago. It wasn't that long
just
ago.
a few.
Just a couple. They have on one of their battleships, they deck it out with the Christmas lights and all kind of things, and s'mores stand and snowball fight. My
cool.
kids were saying they're not going to hold back. They're going to be ruthless with the snowball fight. I'm like, all right, bring it.
Take them
Like,
down to the ocean front too to see the lights on the beach. That's always nice.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. My kids the last few years, more stuff in the house to just have to give away later is not my goal. So going to see grandma and see family, do the Christmas light thing, and just have opportunity to do events and stuff together has been what we're planning.
It's 2026, my friends.
Almost.
That's
yeah.
unbelievable. Unbelievable. You guys were on fire today, per usual. Closing thoughts, maybe a plug for the business, Candace?
Oh, yes. So everything we talk about, my name's Candace. I'm the owner of Buy and Sell CVille, Team Realtors with Yes Realty Partners, Keller Williams Alliance. It's a long tag, but Candace is all you really need to know. And very, very excited about this upcoming year. Very excited to help people, educate people, and get in early. When you're out talking to friends and family, having your get-togethers, and real estate comes up, just throw my name. We get you taken care of. So.
Woody Fincham, Fincham and Associates.
Yeah, we're here to help anybody that we can. Our firm we don't just do loans and mortgage work. We do a lot of investor work. We do a lot of trusts. If you're inheriting property, you have to do a step-up basis. We do a lot of that IRS donation work. Small conservation easement projects we work on. So just throwing out some of the stuff that a lot of people don't think about residential appraisers for doing, but we do quite a bit of it. And we are doing more land now than we've ever done. I mean, there's just not, it's a space I guess a lot of appraisers just don't want to be in. And so we're traveling all over the region doing that. But, pre-listing appraisals, we've done quite a few of those this year. You got a stubborn seller. They just don't want to move on something on the price. And the funny part about that is that we'll do one and it'll end up at pretty much the same number the CMA came in at from the agent. But because the appraiser said it was this number, they tend to be a little bit more open to it. So, but we're here to help folks as best we can and answer questions whenever we can. Even if it's something we're not doing something on, you got a value question, we're happy to help you.
You guys are awesome. Easy show. Candace and Woody, well done.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Always great to see you, Jay.
Same. I sincerely mean that. Woody, thank you. Candace, same. Judah Whitcower, thank you. Real Talk with Keith Smith. Next Friday, Supervisor Albemarle County, Ned Galloway. Supervisor Fluvanna County, Tony O'Brien. And Supervisor Nelson County, Jesse Rutherford on Real Talk with Keith Smith. So a full panel of elected officials at 10:15 a.m. next Friday. Absolutely, Woody. The I Love CVille show, the last show of the week, is up at 12:30. Full week of content next week before the holidays. Goodness gracious, we have 19 days and counting till the end of the year, and 2026 is going to be red hot for all of us. Thank you kindly for joining us so long, and have a good day. Nicely done. He's going to tell us when the mics are off. You guys did great work. You came prepared.